If you've ever wondered if you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur, if it's something that interests you and for some reason you've always felt like maybe you can't do it or you're not sure if it's for you, this is a video for you. Also, if you grew up with parents that were workers, if you grew up with parents that had traditional 9 to 5 jobs and it made you feel like you didn't know the first thing about getting into business, if you always had parents that pushed the traditional route to you of go to college, get a job, work a 9 to 5, do the safe thing. If that's your story, this video is for you too. That's very much how I grew up. My parents worried about what I was going to do for a living. They were always pushing college and that type of thing. And when it became apparent that college wasn't really my thing, that I wasn't going to get a bachelor's degree, I wasn't going to get a master's degree, then they opened up the idea, well, maybe you should get into a union, do that type of thing. And if you follow this page, I had a little bit of a rough time there in my late teens and early 20s, with addiction and the law and that type of thing. So I really was kind of directionless, and luckily I found an opportunity to work in sales. And not only did I get an opportunity to work in sales, but I was fortunate to be around people that all had an entrepreneurial spirit, which I always kind of had. Like, I remember as a kid finding ways to make money. I mean, this was pretty common when I was a kid, but we were always the type of kids that if it snowed, we were out there shoveling driveways to make money. We would do all kinds of things, and I was around people that wanted to make money. But actually, that when you're a kid, that's one thing, but when you're an adult and you're in the real world, for me, like, I was working in jobs where I'd get a pay stub every week and a W-2, and everything was all like organized and official at every job I had. So the idea of actually starting a business, to me, I just always assumed that you had to do some crazy, you had to get some license and do all this crazy stuff to be in business. And I didn't realize until I worked in this one particular office where almost every guy in there, at least the guys that were higher performers, they all owned some kind of business doing something. And they would partner up on these different projects, wholesaling things and getting deals as distributors where they would get exclusivity to wholesale certain types of merchandise to different vendors. And so I was watching all these things happen, and I realized anybody can do this. If you have the drive and the motivation and the desire to do this, you can do it. So that's why I titled this video, You Are Who You Surround Yourself With. So if you want to be in business, find a way to be around business owners and learn from them. Learn how they do the things that they do. If you could be around people that are in the same industry that you want to be in, that's even better. But just by being around people that own businesses, you're going to learn a lot. And it is a contagious thing because by me, I've seen friends of mine that have spent time around me go on to own their own businesses and be successful in the things that they do. So it's not just a thing that happened to me. It's people that surround themselves with business owners that have ideas can be encouraged to have the confidence to go and chase after the thing that they want as well. So that's the one thing that I could say is if you have that little spark of desire and that curiosity in your mind, go around somebody that could fan that flame for you, that could kind of show you what it's really like, and you'll learn a lot, and you'll find out quickly if it's for you. So yeah, I definitely am an advocate for that, and I'm also going to expand on that a little bit as far as you are who you surround yourself with, because even just being in sales, when I walked into that office and I saw there was people that performed on this level down here where they were just getting by. I saw people perform at this level where they were doing pretty good. And then I saw the guys that were like real overachievers and hitting heights that I couldn't even believe were possible. Like the amount of profit they were writing, the paychecks they were walking out with. And, it's pretty obvious, man. Like, I surrounded myself with the people that were way on the top. I tried to sit as close to them as I possibly could. I tried to watch how they worked. What kind of hours were these guys working? What time did they show up? How late did they stay? How many calls did they make throughout the day? Were they the guys that were outside smoking cigarettes, bullshitting, complaining about the leads? Or were they the guy that were sitting at their desk pounding the phone nonstop for the entire time they were there? And I tried to emulate what these people did that were the high performers. I would try to go get lunch with them and just talk to them. At least in my experience, these people have always been the types that were willing to help and willing to teach. If they saw that you wanted what they had, they were willing to help you get it. So, that's something that's really interesting to me. Like, for the most part, I was just talking to somebody on my podcast about this. People are willing to help each other, but a lot of people are afraid to ask for help. And it's scary. It's kind of weird to just hit up somebody that you don't know really and ask them for help. But there's, like I said, there's always different levels. So, I mean, you could find somebody who has some level of success or something that you want and ask them how they got it and watch how they did it and slowly grow and work your way up the ladder. But there's people out there that you wouldn't even realize that you could walk into an office, or, like, let's say you want to be in real estate. Find the best real estate offices around and go talk to somebody and say, listen, this is what I want. You guys are the best. I want to learn from you. Will you train me? And I'm not saying that people are just going to automatically let you in and that everybody you ask for a favor is going to help you out. But if you ask enough people, somebody's going to be willing to help, especially if they know that you really want it and you really make a good impression and you show them. So, that's not a guarantee of success, because just because you get your foot in the door, now you got to continue to prove yourself. You got to keep showing up every day with that same desire. But if you do all that, the sky's the limit for real. So that's really what I wanted to touch on, is just the impact that people can have on your life just by being around you and by you being open-minded to see what they're doing. You could learn so much. So you are who you surround yourself with. Surround yourself with the people that have what you want and learn from them. Also, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. We release a new episode on the Business Blueprint every single week on this channel. We also talk about sales mastery. We talk about physical health and wellness. We talk about mental health and positive thinking. There's going to be a lot of travel content coming. Just buckle up for the ride. We have a weekly podcast as well, where we have people from all different walks of life. And the goal of the podcast, it's called The Power of Now. The goal of the Power of Now podcast is to get people to take action today by seeing how other people have pursued their dreams. So if any of that sounds interesting to you at all, hit the subscribe button, give us a like, share this with somebody who needs to see it, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks again for watching.